The snack wrap plus Caesar sauce equals extra crispy chicken Caesary greatness. Sounds delicious. Caesar sauce at McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Bleav.
Doesn't matter if you're an Indian or if you're a Warhawk.
The ULM mention is the greatest.
This is the Bleav in the Warhawks podcast, powered by WarhawkReport.com.
With hosts Dusty Thibodeaux and Chase Regian. More important than baseball. Sorry, Ford.
What on earth did I just walk into?
I think I'm doing this right, but he's yelling at me, so I'm not. And so,
What are these guys always talking about?
We talk a lot about food on this podcast, and I'm going to continue to do so.
So was that actually y'all's idea? That's awesome.
Nailed the introduction, by the way. Awesome.
Thanks,
I love
Fish.
it.
Chase, welcome back. I flew solo last episode talking a little football. Your favorite sport of women's soccer.
It is probably my third favorite sport. Yeah, I love soccer, specifically women's soccer. And that's because it's probably the only thing the U.S. internationally is good at, besides basketball.
And because your wife makes you like it.
Very true. I did marry a Division I soccer player, so yeah, you got to like it. Absolutely.
Does she kind of hold that over your head, saying that, we've had more success? I had more success than you, Chase?
Well, they were terrible when we were there. They won like 2 games our freshman year. Then they got better. I think she holds it more over me. She says she was faster than me and could jump higher than me. Now, the jump part probably could, but faster is awful. I have great memories of working out with my future wife there at the ULM football stadium in the weight room. But she was a miserable runner. That's why she played center back.
That was very nice of you to slow your 40 down to like 9.8 or whatever it was. Just to make her feel better.
Yeah, exactly.
But Chase, we know it's almost camp time. But before camp, it's the dog days of summer. And this is where the guest tonight gets to shine. And that is the head of strength conditioning, Coach Isaac Lopez, on his second year on the Bayou. Coach, welcome in.
Happy to be here, man. Appreciate you guys having me on.
I love when the check clears and they say, we're happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Yeah. I'm sure, Coach, you get asked to do a lot of media and stuff like that at strength and conditioning.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. This is the first time.
First time, right? Yeah, they usually don't like to talk to the guys yelling, but integral part. I'm sorry I cut you off there, Tibbs. I just was wondering if he had multiple media appearances. We're glad to have you here today.
First one, yes, sir.
So, Coach, this is your time to shine. So, what really kind of goes on during this time to get ready for the season? Because I think all we see is when that first snap at Mississippi State, the ball's down. Oh, well, this guy's not running very fast. Maybe he's, the offensive line's getting destroyed. He's not as strong. But there's a lot of work going on right now. Tell us about that work.
Man, it's yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. It's a lot of things that, a lot of people don't see. Everyone sees, lifting weights and running and stuff like that, but it's a lot of conversations going on. It's a lot of data collecting. It's a lot of stress management, consistently looking at guys' numbers from body weights to jumps to NordBord testing to velocity-based numbers in the weight room, and just looking at those kinds of things and making decisions based off those. I should say driving decisions based off those. We kind of live off a model, we don't make decisions based off data, but we let data drive our decisions. And so when we're looking at each guy and what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, we're constantly making adjustments. We always have an overall plan of what we want to do, but as the days go on, right, and you see guys fluctuating in body weight or, tissue stuff, you got to make adjustments. So we're constantly doing that. And like I said, managing stress is probably one of the biggest ones, when you're working with 18-year-old kids, 19-year-olds, 20, 21-year-olds, they do a whole lot more than just play football. So we can't just put a plan out there and let them roll. We got to make sure we're looking at schedules and how much are they sleeping, what are they eating, what are they doing outside of the weight room, and making adjustments based off those too. So there's definitely a lot that goes into it besides just picking up weights and putting them down.
See, and I think of a complete opposite. You're preparing these guys for the real working world. You know, they always have those commercials, the NCAA, we're prepared to go pro in something else. Hey, what skills did you learn in college? Well, I ran this as a 40 and I can stay up 38 hours consecutively, Chase.
Well, you know, Tibbs, you might be joking there, but I always say a lot that, you know, football obviously gave me a lot of life lessons, but one of the true skills I have the full knowledge of is lifting weights, is being active and doing it in multiple different ways, whether that be from band work to kettlebells to just powerlifting. And if you want to go out there and squat and bench and deadlift and stuff like that, I really think it's an important part. Coach, I wonder, I had two different strength coaches when they were at ULM. I had Dr. Joe Girardi. He's a doctor now. He wasn't a doctor at ULM. And he was an old school power lift. We're going to hang clean the world type guy. And then I had Coach Ben, I forget his last name. What a terrible thing. And he medicine balls and that kind of stuff. And so I want to ask, that's a twofold questions there, is how do you structure your summer for the incoming guys and the current guys? And are you a mix of those styles? Do you feel like you lean towards one way? Kind of that like newer age athlete, I'll say. I mean, science-minded question or science-minded answer to the first question kind of makes me think one way, but that's my question is, what does your structure look like for the athletes, and what does your philosophy look like?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's really a mix of everything. So we really look at kind of a 3-step tier when we're designing everything. So football specific first, right? We want to make sure these guys are ready to play football. Next thing that we're going to look at is position specific. And then the last one is going to be individual specific. So with that being said, you know, we're wanting to get strong. We want to get explosive. So obviously the old school mentality of lifting heavy weights and doing as hard as you can is great. That's going to get you strong. It's been around for this long for a reason. But there also is a time and a place to be kind of performance-based and be throwing med balls and kind of be more on that science side. And I think as you transition during different times of the year, that's when you have to look at those things, right? When you're in the off season and we're not worried about playing games, we can load those guys up really heavy and do all those kinds of things and be super hardcore. But as you get closer to season, it's like, okay, now football is a priority. We probably got to be a little bit smarter. We don't need to put so much weight on these guys' backs. You know, that's when kind of that performance base of, you know, maybe we're doing stuff with med balls or we're doing stuff with chains and bands and being a little bit more on that side of things is the time and place to do it. So as far as philosophy goes, man, it's having to not be married to one certain thing. And I think that's something that a lot of strength coaches will face at some point is, man, I've always done it this way. But with this day and age, you know, it can't be that way no more. You don't get 4 years to develop guys anymore. You get a year, 2 years, you know, and you have to be able to emphasize what they're good at as quick as you can. Still developing guys, but man, get the juice out of them as quick as you can, really.
You're a BV guy through and through, coming over from New Mexico with him.
It's my guy.
Yeah. And you know, I think a lot of people might say Coach is kind of crazy because he doesn't emphasize strength and conditioning as much as he does nutrition. That if you kind of take care of yourself, the strength conditioning will kind of be enhanced. Have we seen a point where that kind of crazy thought is actually paying off and we're seeing the bigger, better, faster, stronger athletes?
Man, we live by a motto too. You can't out-train a bad diet. So no matter how hard you work in the weight room, as much time as you put in, if you ain't putting the right things in your body, you ain't maximizing. You know, it's the same thing with sleep and stuff like that. So yeah, we're gonna put in work in the weight room and we expect everybody to, you know, do everything that's asked and stuff like that. But we also have to put a huge emphasis on those nutrients and that sleep and that recovery and stuff like that, because that's how your body grows, right? That's how muscle synthesis works. It's weight room is breaking down your muscles. So if you're not replenishing those things with the right stuff, they're not growing.
You talk about position-specific training, and this is a question I love to ask training coaches is really a statement is, please tell me that you don't make the fat guys run mile-long
Hell yes, Chase.
conditioning sprints, please.
No,
And it's called the
they
chase.
do not. They do not. Everybody is we try to get as close as we can with the yardage that they're going to be achieving during camp, during season, everything like that. And so we train as close to those as we possibly can.
Thank God. Because if I can put anything in your head is please stop making the fat guys run miles. They don't need to. Never run that far in a game.
But Chase, also that has a double meaning also, because then if you know your offensive line can only run that 3 yards, 4 yards, you're not going to get the ineligible man downfield.
That's true. That's true. That's great logic, Tibbs. Absolutely. And yeah, it just remember running the stadium up and down, and it's a tall ass stadium, Coach. It's so tall, and there is no reason that at 315 pounds I need to be jamming my knees all the way to the top of that stadium. That's all I want to say. Okay, if I can plug anything for fat guys, but I will say, Tibbs, that his fat guys look a lot different than what our fat guys look like. They don't. They actually look a little built up. We were, besides Josh Allen, we looked rough. Coach, my question is, you got some freshmen this summer. I don't know if you guys do both terms. You do a single term of summer, and a lot of people ask me when I first started playing in college of oh, is it so rough? You kind of hear some horror stories. Are you somebody that kind of has them from the beginning work with like a broomstick and just lift the broomstick and work out? And how does that development look like when somebody gets there at kind of out of high school at that freshman level? Or has it changed so much and I'm just out of touch?
I would say that's that varies as well. When it comes to a lot of things, throw them in the fire, and
hell yeah,
and let them roll. But there are times, right, where we have to be smart, and that's kind of where that individual specific kind of comes in. We're not going to ask a freshman who's never done certain things before to do those things and risk hurting themselves. But, when it comes to some of the basic stuff is, man, like we got to go, and we get 7 months in the off season and we got to play games and we're going to have to trust you and rely on you. So we can't just, kind of slow cook everything. So that varies as well. We would definitely play it smart, but man, if we got to go, we got to go. So sink or swim.
First time through as the head coach, how does your approach kind of change now that you're the guy? You're the front and center guy for strength conditioning on the Bayou.
The snack wrap plus Caesar sauce equals extra crispy chicken Caesary greatness. Sounds delicious. Caesar sauce at McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, I guess, everything, the way that I operate has not changed. As far as, my day-to-day of how I approach everything and how I coach and, everything like that. But I guess as far as the program has been a complete, 180 from what it was last year. One of the things that when the transition happened, we sat down as a training staff and was like, man, we can't tiptoe around. We're going to have to run a bulldozer through this training and conditioning department. And that's exactly what we've done. A lot of people, I feel like, don't want to rock the boat, but we flipped it. And from the moment we started in January, we put everything up on a whiteboard from, culture and discipline and accountability standards and weightlifting and speed and return to play protocols and science and everything. And, I think this program for the last couple of years has just needed that. And so as a strength and conditioning department, we want to make changes in a big way. I mean, we got to change it. And so like I said, we weren't tiptoeing around. We flipped everything. Everything's brand new to these guys, from the way that they warm up to the things that they say when they break down the huddle. We've changed all those.
I think an underrated part of your job, from what I understand, is game day. Kind of the whether you're the hype guy or whether you are getting people into it. Tell us a little bit about what a football game day looks like for you.
Man, I'm gonna steal this from one of my mentors, and he said that his biggest priority on game day is the music, and I 100% agree with that. Those guys have already put in all the work. There's nothing that we can do at that point physically to get them bigger, faster, stronger. So, music is a vital aspect of, guys getting pumped up. And so we got to make sure that playlist is on point. We're there if guys needs us, but man, we got to make sure that music is queued up and they're ready to go.
He doesn't want to say this, Tibbs, because I think this is illegal. So I'm not going to put this in his mouth. I'm not going to put these words in his mouth. But strength coaches are known to carry the ammonia tablets. You know what that is, Tibbs?
Yeah, that's your BFF.
That is my favorite thing in the world, Coach. So I know that you can't officially say, especially in this format, that you have them. Just know when I dap you up on the sidelines this year, if you sneak something in my pocket, I will be a very, very happy man, because that is the best shit in the world. Just getting you going. Just getting you going.
All right.
How did we get here, Chase?
I love strength coaches, dude. They're just really interesting dudes. Honestly, they live in a weight room, and thankfully now they have way more science. And it's honestly refreshing to hear him talk about the science and the work. I mean, he's got 2 degrees in it, so I hope that he works off of some of that. But they're also, just a little bit, no offense to you, Coach, they're also a little bit of psychos. Like, they're just a little bit of psychopaths. Like, especially on game day, they're screaming. I've been punched before with love. I've been, you know what I mean? They're going to hit you. They're just interesting people.
And they're the sideline bouncer and the get back coach.
They are. He undersold how much duties he has on game day for sure.
And on that note, Coach, I mean, that is obviously one of your game day duties there, in addition to everything else. Who is the one you got to wrangle the most?
Oh, man. I'd say last year was probably Coach Troy Ref. It was probably the one for me that I had my biggest battles with, trying to get him back last year. I'll be on Coach V duty this year, though, so looking forward to that.
You gonna grab the belt? You gotta he's wearing a harness. How are you gonna do that one?
Grab his head, hope for the best. Yeah, we're gonna have a prior conversation to that and see what's not gonna get me in trouble, and then we'll go from there.
Coach, still fairly new in Monroe, but tell us about the Twin Cities. What's the best place to go eat for you?
It's tough, man. So my fiance and I are from Albuquerque, New Mexico, so we're big on Mexican food. So I ain't gonna say it's Mexican food here because I'm super biased.
Terrible Mexican food in Monroe.
I'm super biased on that one.
Dallas native, terrible.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, man. Where do we go pretty often? We'll go to Cotton pretty often. Cotton's good. We've gone to Doe's before. Doe's is good. I'm trying to think of some other spots that we go to. Man, we do a lot of home cooking, really. We try not to eat out a whole lot. Fiance is great in the kitchen, and I'm a master on the grill. So, there's that. We'll go to J Papa's pretty often. J Papa's is good. They got some really good wings.
I got to try these wings because Holly Vincent even talked about them.
Yeah, the wings are legit. They're legit.
Everything else you said was good. But Tibbs, to be honest, though, I mean, look at the man. You don't get to like 9% body fat by eating, going to the places you and I go. He's not going to Delta Biscuit. He's not going to have a biscuit.
Oh man,
We've gone there. Delta Biscuit's good. We've gone there before.
I'll be back in about 6.5 hours, Chase.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Coach, your grilling skills. I mean, we hear all about BV and Coach Hill. Are you on that level, or are you still in the amateur ranks?
I haven't got an opportunity yet to show them. But I'm a competitor, man. So I'm gonna put my grill up against anybody when I have to.
What's the specialty though?
Chicken breast. Look at
yeah, chicken breast, turkey breast,
chicken breast and broccoli. Look at
man, we've made some good stuff. Honestly, I make some really good wings, man, and I haven't made them in a while. But I can make some really good wings. I mean, I feel like everybody's gonna say steak, but I feel like the steaks come out pretty well. But honestly, I'm gonna put my wings up there for sure.
This year, a little bit of a pressure. What have you seen out of this football team so far? Who's going to be the standout? Who's your freakishly strong guy? And I'm not going to have you call him out of who's the opposite of the freakishly strong guy, unless you want to put him on full blast. But maybe that's what pushes them. Hey, special teams win games, baby.
I don't know. He said 20. He said 19 to 21-year-olds. Mackenzie Ryan's like 34, so I'm sure he might be a little stronger.
And pressure's a privilege, man. And there ain't no pressure. Big idol of mine, Kyle Dake, said, "Why put pressure on yourself to make it harder for you?" So I mean, there ain't no pressure, man. But it's just a team. The team's unified this year. That's the biggest difference from last year. Is we got such a strong brotherhood right now, such a selfless team, and there's not really one guy that we're looking at. It's this whole team is different. It's a different energy right now. It's night and day compared to where we were last year, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good. A lot of people don't see us coming, and that's exactly what we want.
You got anybody in there that's just like squatting 1,000 pounds, doing some dumb stuff like that? That's what I want to hear.
Man,
I will say that when I was there, we had a third string DN, so it's not like I'm looking for a star's name. But anybody just crazy?
We had a couple of guys a couple weeks ago before we went to 4th of July break. Yeah, we had 5 or 6 guys squat over 600 pounds. So, yeah, we're moving some weight, man.
That sounds like a hernia to me, Coach. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It was good. It was good, man. We got a handful of those guys, and they're ready to rock and roll.
Has BV put the fear of God in you that don't injure my kickers, knowing that was a huge difference from last year?
Yeah, we got to be smart. We got to be smart. But no, man, I mean, it's a part of the game, as long as we continue to do what we're doing. And, the pace that we're at a phenomenal pace right now with our training and where our bodies are at as a team and, our health and everything like that. So, no fear. No fear. We're going to keep doing what we do, and it'll all take care of itself. So.
And Chase, I can guarantee you that's the only time he'll ever get that question. And it might ever be asked of a strength conditioning coach of, have you been told to take it easy on the special team?
The rest of his career. I bet you all those kickers will be doing plyometrics for as long as he's a head strength and conditioning coach, just for that 1 year at ULM.
The PTSD is real, that's for sure. Coach, we're on the bandwagon trying to add flag football for women there. But I know you have a sport that's near and dear to your heart that really helps, I think, a lot of times with the strength conditioning and especially your love there on the offensive line. And that's some good old wrestling. Tell me about getting the round circle down and getting these guys to try to pin each other.
Man, I would love nothing more than to lay some mats out with those guys and let them go after it. And we talk about it all the time. A handful of our guys did wrestle. So, we're in the weight room and, we're messing around with those guys. And, I'll give it a go every now and then with them big 300 pounders. They're a lot heavier than I am, but we have a good time with it. And if we could lay some mats down and give those guys a little bit more, we definitely would. But they have a good time with it. And, we talk about it all the time. Once this season is done, me and you are going to meet at the 50. So.
That proves my point, Tibbs. They all just got a little bit of, just got a little bit of something about them, I wouldn't take them up on it, and I'm probably 120 pounds heavier than them. That didn't mean to be offensive, Coach. I'm just
no, all good.
What else you got, Chase?
That's it, Coach. I appreciate you tonight, man. I like I said, I look forward to this team. I love the approach you're taking. I love, year in and year out, every time BV has to make a move, I'm just really stoked and love to hear your philosophy on it and where you're headed with the program and what you're doing over there. I just can't reiterate enough. Stop making the fat guys run like that. It's really not advantageous to anybody.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
So what are you proposing?
It's simple.
Perhaps you should read the instructions first.
If you liked the show, like and subscribe wherever you stream podcast.
Is that good for us or bad for us?
Follow us on X at Warhawk_report. Like us on Facebook at Warhawk Report and click the subscribe button on YouTube for Fun Belt Podcast.
He's done!
Done? It's only been an hour.
Hear that? That's now Crispy and McCrispy strips meeting creamy Caesar sauce. Sounds extra crispy. Caesar sauce at McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.